The genie's out of the bottle and is not going anywhere, so you might as well get on board. AI is the hammer of this generation, but a lot of us are still driving in nails with rocks. Why are we so afraid to use these new tools? Let's get into it. Even though all we hear about is AI and the advancements being made in science and how much more efficient people are and all the wonderful things you can get out of it, there's still a big stigma about using it. And the reason for that is that people use it the wrong way. They over-rely on it, they don't check its content, they're not transparent about when they use it, but that doesn't need to be the case. And if you use it right, it's a huge way to level up how much you can get done. So the secret is to become a centaur. In Greek mythology, a centaur is a hybrid between a man and a horse, and in AI, that hybrid is between humans and AI. You use the creativity, the nuance, critical thinking, and the emotional intelligence of the human, along with the brute power of the AI, and together you can really get a lot more done. So it becomes, at some point, irresponsible not to use AI when you can get so much better results by doing it. Part of the reason people think it's cheating is that they're not transparent about when they use AI. So if you're using AI just to summarize what you've already written or expand on it, or just change the format or the tone or getting your message across better, you don't need to be transparent about it. It's fine. It's just a tool like spell check. But if the content you're creating is research or going to be used to help influence a big decision, it's a good idea to be transparent about the fact that that came from AI. For me, I like to use a little robot emoji for that. The biggest hurdle to using AI correctly is not using critical thinking. So here's the workflow to make sure you get the most out of it. First up, give it as much context as possible. Remember, you in your human brain, in your job, you have a lot of an idea about everything that's going on around the task that you're doing. So try and give as much of that as possible to the AI. Then give it a few bullet points of what you're actually trying to produce. So don't just say, here's the context, what do I do? Think, use your own brain, think, here's what I think I want to do, here's the context, help me expand on that, help me think that through. Then when it gives you the output, look at it critically, make sure it makes sense, delete parts of it, regenerate things, start again if you need to, but don't just take what it gives you and send it on its way. You need to use your own brain and critical thinking to make sure it makes sense. The other important thing around that is to know the limits of what it is and isn't capable of. If you are an expert in a field, you'll have the ability to look at it critically and say, yes, that makes sense. No, that doesn't make sense. I'll tweak this part and I'll send it on. If you're not an expert, you need to do a few things. First thing, fact checking. So check on Google, check on perplexity.ai, which is like better Google using AI, to check that the things it's come up with aren't hallucinated or aren't just wrong for the context that you're working in. If you don't have enough knowledge to even with fact checking to know if that's right, bring in a subject matter expert, an SME. You know, if it's to do with development, get a coder to come and have a look. If it's to do with HR, get your HR person to have a look. Double check the output. If it's in a sensitive area, which normally you would need a subject matter expert to give you this information, at least have them check it. Data privacy is another area that people are nervous. There's one easy hack to fix most of that problem, and that's just to go into ChatGPT or Claude and just untick train on my conversations. So that's an option that every LLM has available. So do that first. That takes away 90% of the problem. If you are dealing with more sensitive data than that, you can use a private cloud to host your LLM. You can use Azure, which has the same data privacy as any other thing you'd be doing in Azure. So for instance, the same as your intranet. And again, if you're even more sensitive than that, you can pull it down, use it on your own hardware, completely air-gapped, and no information even gets out of the building. So it is possible to use AI for any use case, no matter how sensitive you need to be. Right now, the most value you can get out of AI is in a few different areas, like creating content. That's the thing it's best at. So if you want to make emails or marketing materials or code or anything like that, it's amazing at producing content in the way I spoke about before, where you give it the right context, you give it the way you want it to go, and let it go nuts, and then you use your critical thinking to pare it down to what you need. If you are in a technical field, tools like GitHub Copilot and Cursor are amazing at producing all the boilerplate you need. They can do auto completions for your code, so you start typing and then it just guesses what you need. It's pretty good at that. It can make unit tests around sections that you need. It can explain code. It can help debug code. Anything that can have self-contained logic, it can create for you. It's also really good at commenting sections as well, so giving the reasons behind the code. And the last thing that I love doing is using advanced voice mode to just talk to it. So when I was preparing for this video today, I spent about 20 minutes just chatting to ChatGPT, asking questions and it giving me ideas and bouncing those ideas, challenging them. It's like having an intelligent coworker to bounce those ideas and help get your head right and help teach you on a topic. So we've documented all these tips in our rules. Check it out and have a look. Give us a comment if you think it's good. But if you are using all this correctly, you should be proud of the fact that you're using AI. You shouldn't be nervous about it. You shouldn't be, surreptitiously thinking you're cheating and doing it on the sly. This is something that you should be wearing loud and proud. I use AI really well, and that's why I'm so good at my job. AI is here and it's here to stay. The genie's out of the bottle and is not going anywhere, so you might as well get on board. Check out the SSW rules. We've documented all our best ideas about how to harness AI. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much.